It was one of the most remarkable rescues in the history of Niagara Falls. A dredging scow with 2 men aboard broke loose from its tugboat in 1918. It got stuck on rocks barely 600 meters from the falls, but luckily just 200 meters from the big power station.
They had to fire a line from the top of the power plant out to the poor old scow out there.
Jim Hill of Niagara Parks says a U.S. Coast Guard cannon fired the lifeline. A local hero, Red Hill, went out over the water, untangled the lines, and after 17 hours, with pulleys and a harness, the 2 men were brought to shore.
This is such a compelling story that it involves bravery, it involves international cooperation, and it has a happy ending.
It was too risky to do anything more with the scow, and so it was left, where it sat for decades. A tourist attraction.
We called it the barge when I came here to look at this 50 years ago when I was a kid, and we wondered at the time, how does it stay in one place? Well, it took another 50 years for it to finally move.
A century of pounding water and rusting metal, and finally gale-force winds last week eventually pushed the Iron Hulk off its rocky perch. It moved about 50 meters, that much closer to Niagara Falls.
Sure.
Alf McGrath was taking pictures of it hours before last week's storm and came back today to compare.
I think it's broken up quite a bit more, too.
His before picture and after. He says it's sad to see it breaking up.
Before it looked like a boat. Now it just looks like a mess.
Now that the scow is movable, its days may be numbered.
Quite a story from that long ago.
Rich Eckert brought his son to have a look, the historic significance not lost even on a 7-year-old.
It's been there for 100 years. It's really cool that it just moves suddenly.
Niagara Parks officials are watching it more closely now. Operators of the Maid of the Mist have been cautioned, and chances are it will break apart, and the rugged memorial to a heroic rescue will vanish for good over the falls. But in those constantly churning waters, it has sure lasted longer than anyone ever thought it would. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Niagara Falls, Ontario.